My name is Farida, and I've worked remotely and slow traveled for over 5 years on a teacher's salary. I talk to Black and Muslim women about living a life of ease through remote work and slow travel. If you're interested in escaping the rat race and not living paycheck to paycheck, you're in the right place. Please like, comment, and subscribe. So I was watching a video by Rashida Dow about residency requirements in different countries tightening up and it getting really difficult to make that move abroad. Rashida also believes that if you are not an American citizen by birth or your parents were not by birth, the time to move is now. Mexican regularization got a lot more difficult and more stringent. The rules have changed very recently, and citizenship by descent for a lot of European countries has gotten a lot tighter as well. Instead of accepting the descent of your great-grandparents, they're going to be looking at parents and grandparents only. What do these changes mean for me as a woman in her late 40s who is not ready to take the big move? So for me, that means that I keep the course, stay the course with my Grenada citizenship process, keep moving forward in that. But am I going to jump onto a country and just get citizenship today because I feel a sense of fear or I feel a sense of urgency? No, that is not the path for me, and that's not the path that makes me feel good. So what I want to do is I want to take my time, continue to get these wonderful experiences in many different countries, slow travel, really scout out these countries and see what country makes me feel good and move out of that feeling of peace and tranquility rather than a feeling of fear and urgency. So for me, first of all, I have family here in the States that I love dearly, and I do not want to be parted from them for more than 6 months out of the year. So I know that means for me that the expat life is not the life for me at this moment. What I would like to do is I would like to be a flexpat, and I would like to spend 3 to 6 months in other countries, either scouting or a country that I know that eventually I'd like to live in for a good 3 to 6 months, and then return home to my children and my grandchild. That is what's going to make me feel most at peace, most at ease, because I'm human. I miss my family, and I don't want to be away from them for more than 6 months at a time. Honestly, maybe not even more than 3 months at a time. So these are some things you have to be honest with yourself about. Can you be without your family for that period of time? Realizing that sometimes if they say they're going to come and visit, that it's just not possible or they have no intention of doing it. Do you have elderly parents that you want to spend these precious moments with? And yes, you can Zoom, yes, you can call, but it's not quite the same thing as going for a visit. And I like to visit my mom, or she'll come to visit me at least once every other month. So, brutal honesty with myself. Could I do 2, 3, 4 years away from my children and parents? No, I couldn't do it. Not at this time in my life. There might be a time 10, 15 years down the road where I could do it, where things change, where kids grow up, start new families of their own, come to visit. But at this time in my life, that's not the path for me. Also, I have a life's worth of stuff, and I have a great emotional connection to these things. And yes, we can always say, but they're just things, they're just stuff. Get rid of them and live the expat life. and you can get stuff in your new place. That's true, and that works for a lot of people. But for me, I want to hold on to my things. I have tubs of coloring pages that my kids have drawn, awards they've won, pictures from family albums, furniture that I really love and enjoy. And I want to have a permanent residence here. Yes, it'll be downsized so that I can afford to go abroad for periods of time. However, there are going to be some key pieces that I want to keep in an air-conditioned apartment living area that I know that when I get back from my travels, my precious mementos are there and they're safe. Pets. I have 2 cats that I do not want to fill out extensive paperwork to have them brought to a country and go through that process. I don't want the hassle of that. And that's not to say that someone else that's doing it is doing it wrong. Absolutely not. But for me, I don't want the hassle of bringing pets over to another country. I don't want to fill out unnecessary paperwork. That's another reason why the expat life is not the life for me at this time. I also have a really old beat up Ford that I love, that I want to keep that car. I don't want to sell it. I don't want to put it on Craigslist or sell it through CarMax or whatever. I want to keep it, and I want it to be available for when I'm in town. Keeping a small residence and having my car parked in the garage while I'm out of the country, or having it driven here and there by my children or friends to keep it running and in good order, sounds like a better bet to me than worrying about selling the car or where to store the car if I'm living out of the country for long periods of time. Not that it's an impossible task at all, it's just a task that I don't want to take on. I don't want to spend that brain power doing that. Also, I touched on this before, but I get homesick, and not just homesick for my loved ones, my family, my friends, my pets. I get homesick for my bed, my sheets, my favorite mug with my favorite coffee. So I want that little piece of stability, and I want it to be in the States. There are so many channels that I've seen where people bop around and they have their home base in Mexico or their home base in Costa Rica or their home base in Malaysia. I plan on doing the same thing. However, I want my home base to be in the States. So I think the FlexPat or the slow travel route will allow me to get that sense of home when I feel that homesickness. I don't have to worry about packing up my turmeric and my cinnamon and my tea and my favorite chocolates. I know that in a couple of months I'll be back to them. So I think that's a really exciting way to get around some of the concerns that I had about an extended year or 2-year stay out of the country. The political climate is very unstable and uncertain right now, and we don't know what the future may hold. We don't know what's going to happen in 2-3 years. And I understand Rashida and a lot of other Black women's urgency to get moving, to have a plan B. What I propose is, let's continue working on our plan to have that plan B, to have residency in another country, whether it's through financial solvency, regularization, or citizenship by descent. Let's keep working on that plan, but let's also continue exploring, learning, and visiting countries all over the world, doing our scouting trips and doing our slow travel, because this is not just for our physical safety, it's also for our mental and spiritual safety. Thank you so much for listening. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.